one that's going to shock people. I think security and safety is also another reason why I prefer living in Nigeria over US. And by the way, for you guys watching this video, before you comment, just know that my own experiences surrounds around the southwestern part of Nigeria. So when I say Nigeria, I'm talking about Lagos, Nigeria specifically, and the surrounding areas. So that's my own. So I frequent Lagos and Ogun State and Ibadan, kind of mainly, but predominantly mainly Lagos and Ogun States. And for you guys that watch my channel, that's where I talk about. I do feel more safer. I don't know if it's safer or not safer. I would say a lot of countries have crime. Forget it. Whether you're in US, UK, London, Nigeria, it doesn't matter where you're at. There's going to be crime. There's going to be that.
Now, at this point, I think he's making a very important note, because I've seen so many comments online of Nigerians always, they always make security is one of the issues they always the narrative they give for Jackpot, and all that. So, but as you can see now, this guy is actually being honest and is being very open as far as that issue is concerned, and I like it. I really love it.
It's just standard across the other countries. But for me, I do feel safer here. I think part of the reason is that in Lagos specifically, because maybe the security challenges that people have had in the past, I feel like security is already part of the culture here. Like there's gated estates, obviously gated in the state, there's gatesman, there's security everywhere. So I feel like because of the consciousness of the security challenges that people are perceiving, I feel like people have done so much to tighten up security in Lagos, Nigeria, to where it feels safe. I feel like I don't ever feel threatened security-wise. So I feel like I feel safe. But the biggest thing for me that's happening in the US that always keeps me at anxiety is that I don't know who is racist. I don't know who is going to approach me. I don't know how a cop is going to approach me, the police, if they pull me over. But the biggest one is this mass shooting thing. When I'm in US, I am always conscious. Especially even this year, this mass shooting thing has increased. And there's no place that's exempt from it. It happens at the workplace, at the post office, it happens at Walmart, it happens at the nail salon, it happens at the club, it happens in a residential area. This mass shooting thing has become a problem, and a lot of people have guns. So when we go 3, I feel like food is a big one. I feel like I have not had any scenario ever since I've been coming to Nigeria where I am so bored with food and I'm confused what to eat for dinner. And I'm always, in US, the conversation of what to eat for dinner and being bored with food happens so frequently. Because our routine is the same. It's either pasta, rice, spaghetti, pizza, burger. It's the same thing over and over and over and over and over again. And if you're going to go to a restaurant to get something different, it's very expensive. African food is very expensive. It's luxury. So you don't tend to eat that too often. But some people still find a way, Sha. People who like the African food, they're going to find a way to get it. But we just don't eat it as consistently as I would like. And trying to eat healthier, especially when it comes to vegetables. In US, when I want to kind of lean up, like I've been doing now in Nigeria, I think, with vegetables, I'll eat maybe more broccoli, more cauliflower, maybe more salads. I'll try to find a way to kind of jazz these things up, and it's always just such a big challenge. But if I want to clean my nutrition up in Nigeria and I just want to eat more fats, eat more healthy fats, eat more protein, eat more vegetable, it's way, way easier. When I go to a restaurant, they have okra, they have egusi, they have edikato.
I was seeing these meals he's talking about, he's just choked. Gives me a real sense of humor, because if you've ever been to Nigerian restaurants, you would recognize some of these meals.
They have eforiru, they have afan, there is all types of vegetables. I feel like vegetables is never a problem. There's ewedu. So there's a lot of vegetables. So if I want to lean out, all I have to do is reduce my starch content and then eat all this. There's goat's meat, there's fish, there's snail, there's just There's turkey, there's chicken, there's just plenty of options food-wise.
Call it a plethora of food varieties.
And I love the fruits of Nigeria. I love agbalumo. I love the way.
Yeah, I think I once had the president of Uganda. I don't know whether it was in the United Nations Council or something meeting or conference. He was talking about the pineapple in the US that it sounded, it tasted odd, rather, and he was seriously complaining about it. That anytime he's going for a United Nations conference, he will make sure he brings lots of Ugandan pineapples. And a lot of people have been talking about the artificial nature of most of these fruits in the US, and well, it calls for serious concern.
They peel the oranges and how they slice it. I eat a lot more watermelon, pineapple. What else do we eat? Yeah, carrots, mangoes. Mangoes are delicious. Nigeria has the best mangoes and the best oranges. Anyways, so I eat a lot more fresh fruits here. I do make.
Okay guys, so let's come back to the channel. Today we're taking a very, very good look at the other side of the Canadian experience. We're talking of the United States of America. Previously I did a preview or review of the interview for a Nigerian who is a doctor and migrated to Canada, and he told us or shared his experience online with the content creator, the Indian content creator. Now, in this case, this is the flipped side or the flipped coin of, the other side. Now, this guy had parents who have actually migrated to the United States, and he seems to be like a second generation Nigerian. But he decided to return back to Nigeria for the following reasons. So let us sit back, relax, and go over this video and see one or two things that we can learn from his content. Okay, so here we go.
Subscribe or check out all of my other videos. Hey
Okay.
yo, what's up everybody? This is Bayo Adio, your favorite Nigerian American on YouTube. Welcome to the Nigerian Nomad channel. For you guys that don't know who I am, I'm a second generation Nigerian American that has been just rediscovering Nigeria as an adult with my.
Okay, so you can hear that he said he's a second generation Nigerian. That means his parents had actually migrated. Now he is a step ahead of the other guy that is in Canada. This one is creating this. Okay, just imagine that the guy now, his children in Canada is the one speaking now. Just place that in your mind. The other guy was in Canada. He said he's doing this for his children. Now this one has inherited the immigration benefits of his parents, and he's now giving a breakdown of his preference. So we need to take a very good listen.
Family, and I've just been doing all types of stuff, from investments to farming to real estate, and I talk a lot about just cultural and lifestyle stuff on this channel. So if that's your jam, make sure to subscribe or check out all of my other videos about life in Lagos, Nigeria, and just check out my other playlist. I have a whole bunch of video content about just lifestyle in Nigeria. So today's video specifically, I want to talk about a topic that's maybe not as popular, maybe a bit controversial, and the topic is to just share my own top 10 personal reasons.
Now I understand why he's saying it's controversial, because of obvious reasons. Nigerians always like putting up various arguments or various reasons for immigrating, and for the, in quote, japa or japa, as they usually say. But let's take a listen and then pick points as he goes along.
Of why I prefer Nigeria over America. So you guys would want to stay tuned for this. guys, welcome back. Let's dive into this. So I have my laptop here to help me like arrange my thoughts process, and we're just gonna go for this one by one. But before I do this video, I am very well aware that a lot of people, and I'm speaking for Nigeria specifically, I'm sure my points are going to be relatable to maybe other third world countries or maybe other African countries. But for now, I'm speaking of my own personal experience. I'm very well aware that a lot of people are escaping this country. I'm very well aware of all the challenges that Nigeria faces with corruption and inflation and infrastructure. Just know that I'm not
Now, I like his intro because I think this guy is very well aware of the storytelling or the narratives that most Nigerian immigrants give whenever they want to immigrate. You know, they just close their mind to anything good coming out of their home country. So for the fact that it's not that there's no good thing coming out of the country, but they've just made up their minds that this is what they want to do. Are you getting it? So he's taking it from this perspective is actually a clean cut, obvious, the clearing of air as per his opinion, what he's about to say.
stranger to all of these things, and all these things affect me. So me doing this video is to just share reasons why, even with all of that happening, why I still prefer living in Nigeria over America. So now, we don't live in Nigeria full time, so I definitely recognize my privilege, but I would say I'm definitely in Nigeria like 80% most of the time. I go to US, check on my apartments, my business, and then I come back. But I would say I definitely recognize my privilege. So this is my own personal story and my own personal situation, and this video is for people who can relate to being in my own situation. I think somebody living in Nigeria might not necessarily understand this video because a lot of people are trying to escape, but I even think it would be good for local Nigeria to listen to this, just so they're aware that there are pros and cons to living in US versus Nigeria. Both, there's like pros and cons to both. Now that I've given you guys that kind of level of framework and introduction, let's dive in. So the number one reason why I prefer living in Nigeria over America is weather. So for me, number one, if anybody that's close to me or know who I am, you would know that I hate cold. I hate cold, I hate snow, and my own personal circumstance, I've just kind of ended up in the places. I grew up in California, which was great, but after I went to school, after I got a job, after I got family, circumstances and everything just kind of led me to.
Yeah, talking of weather, most people in Africa, if you're from Africa and you're black African, or if you grew up under the heat of the sun, you'd discover that when you move, it's not the only one that says this. A lot of Africans say this because naturally they are actually made under the sun. Okay, so the melanin structure, the pigment itself, is more, compliant or much more complementary to sunshine than to cold weather.
Cold area. So I got a scholarship, went to school in a cold area. We still live in Kansas City, which is like cold. And the places we frequent, Chicago, all these places cold. I hate it. They do have summer, which lasts like 2 to 3 months out of the year, maybe even 4 or 5. So yeah, but I would say extreme weather because even when it's summer, we worry about storms. We worry about, there's always a warning for something, tornado, and even when you're in a warmer climate, like Florida has all these storms, California sometimes can have earthquake. It's like, there's always like extreme weather happening. Regardless, regular people you manage. But in Nigeria, I don't feel those swings at all. Like I don't even know of a time where I've had to like escape to like the basement or go to the shelter because there's a tornado warning. I don't think I've ever had any weather issues ever since I've been coming to Nigeria. So I'm sure they have some, maybe in different regional places, maybe minor flooding. I know we had some intense flooding, but overall I haven't had any like extreme weather issues. So I would say number one, I would say weather is pretty stable and I love it, especially in the region where I'm at. I love it. So I would say that is number one reason why I prefer living here is definitely weather. I'm happy. Number two, this one is going to be a one that's going to shock people. I think security and safety is also another reason why I prefer living in Nigeria over US. And by the way, for you guys watching this video, before you comment, just know that my own experiences surrounds around the southwestern part of Nigeria. So when I say Nigeria, I'm talking about Lagos, Nigeria specifically, and the surrounding areas. So that's my own. So I frequent Lagos and Ogun State and Ibadan, kind of mainly, but predominantly mainly Lagos and Ogun States. And for you guys that watch my channel, that's where I talk about. I do feel more safer. I don't know if it's safer or not safer. I would say a lot of countries have crime. Forget it. Whether you're in US, UK, London, Nigeria, it doesn't matter where you're at. There's gonna be crime. There's gonna be that.
Now, at this point, I think he's making a very important note, because I've seen so many comments online of Nigerians always, they always make security is one of the issues. They always the narrative they give for Jackpot, and all that. So, but as you can see now, this guy is actually being honest, and is being very open as far as that issue is concerned, and I like it. I really love it.
It's just standard across the other countries. But for me, I do feel safer here. I think part of the reason is that in Lagos specifically, because maybe the security challenges that people have had in the past, I feel like security is already part of the culture here. There's gated estates, obviously gated in the state, there's gatesman, there's security everywhere. So I feel like because of the consciousness of the security challenges that people are perceiving, I feel like people have done so much to tighten up security in Lagos, Nigeria, to where it feels safe. I feel like I don't ever feel threatened security-wise. So I feel like I feel safe. But the biggest thing for me that's happening in the US that always keeps me at anxiety is that I don't know who is racist. I don't know who is going to approach me. I don't know how a cop is going to approach me, the police, if they pull me over. But the biggest one is this mass shooting thing. When I'm in US, I am always conscious. Especially even this year, this mass shooting thing has increased. And there's no place that's exempt from it. It happens at the workplace, at the post office, it happens at Walmart, it happens at the nail salon, it happens at the club, it happens in a residential area. This mass shooting thing has become a problem, and a lot of people have guns. So when we go out to the mall,
you see, this is one of the reasons why whenever I'm featuring these violent games on my channel, I usually make a disclaimer, and that's regarding shooting and violence. I'm just of this opinion that the weapons of our warfare are not carnal, but they are mighty through God to the pulling down of strongholds. So, to be very honest, this violence thing has never been a solution to anything, but rather, being calm and being spiritual.
Or anywhere public, I am just always, I have this hyper awareness and anxiety to always scan my environment.
That's a strong statement there. He's talking of being hyper aware. Well, I think it's normal for a human being to take proactive steps when anything odd is in the environment.
Because you don't know what can happen. So I think the gun issue scares me a bit in US, to be honest. And I don't have that anxiety when I'm here. So when I'm here, I truly just feel like I don't even worry about security. Maybe when I go to the rural areas, but even then, I still haven't had that security threats. But again, it happens, robbery happens in Nigeria. You do have to be very, very hyper aware. But I'm saying for the sense of feeling, I don't get that feeling like I'm in US. For security wise. So I'll say feeling of safety, I do feel safer here. I know it's going to be very, very controversial, but I do feel safer. I think the main thing in US is this mass shooting thing. The US do have security beefed up, police are very responsive. I just genuinely feel safer here. So yeah, so that is number 1, 2 reasons why one of my preference of preferring Lagos, Nigeria specifically over US. Alright, number 3, I feel like food is like a big one. I feel like I have not had any scenario ever since I've been coming to Nigeria where I am so bored with food and I'm confused what to eat for dinner. And I'm always, like in US, the conversation of what to eat for dinner and being bored with food happens so frequently. Because our routine is the same. It's like either pasta, rice, spaghetti, pizza, burger. It's the same thing over and over and over and over and over again. And if you're going to go to a restaurant to get something different, it's very expensive. African food is very expensive. It's luxury. So you don't tend to eat that too often. But some people still find a way, Sha. People who like the African food, they're going to find a way to get it. But we just don't eat it as consistently as I would like. And trying to eat healthier, especially when it comes to vegetables. In US, when I want to kind of lean up, like I've been doing now in Nigeria, I think, you know, with vegetables, I'll eat maybe more broccoli, more cauliflower, maybe more salads. I'll try to find a way to kind of like jazz these things up, and it's always just such a big challenge. But if I want to like clean my nutrition up in Nigeria and I just want to like eat more fats, eat more healthy fats, eat more protein, eat more vegetable, it's way, way easier. Like when I go to a restaurant, they have okra, they have egusi, they have edikago.
I was seeing these meals he's talking about, he's just choked. Gives me a real sense of humor because if you've ever been to Nigerian restaurants, you would recognize some of these meals.
They have eforiru, they have afan, there is like all types of vegetables. Like I feel like vegetables is never a problem. There's ewedu. So there's like a lot of vegetables. So if I want to lean out, all I have to do is reduce my starch content and then eat all this. Like, you know, there's goat's meat, there's fish, there's snail, there's turkey, there's chicken, there's just plenty of options food-wise.
Call it a plethora of food varieties.
And I love the fruits of Nigeria. I love agbalumo. I love the way.
Yeah, I think I once had the president of Uganda. I don't know whether it was in the United Nations Council or something, meeting or conference. He was talking about the pineapple in the US that it sounded, it tasted odd, rather, and he was seriously complaining about it. That anytime he's going for a United Nations conference, he will make sure he brings lots of Ugandan pineapples. And a lot of people have been talking about the artificial nature of most of these fruits in the US, and well, it calls for serious concern.
They peel the oranges and how they slice it. I eat a lot more watermelon, pineapple. What else do we eat? Yeah, carrots, mangoes. Mangoes are delicious. Nigeria has the best mangoes and the best oranges. Anyways, so I eat a lot more fresh fruits here. I do miss like the exotic, should I call them exotic? I do miss some of the American fruits, like the berries, like the strawberries and the berries, but honestly I like the tropical fruit.
Yeah, the berries are one of the very good fruits in the US.
It's more. So yeah, so I'll say food wise I enjoy Nigeria because of that.
In Nigeria we call this swallow, and it comes in varieties. You have amala, the dark quiche textured yam flour. You also have the white flavored amala, and then you have the gari or eba, which is the cassava granules. You can also make into a swallow. And you also have the fufu. The fufu also comes from the cassava, and there are a whole bunch of them. There's semo as well, also it's yam, but it's another variety of flavor.
Never bored. There's always different things that one can consume. Even if I'm bored, I can say, let's go get suya. We can just always diversify our cuisine experience. So I love that a lot. And my wife also gets to slow down on the cooking a bit, which is also great. Because there, we're always cooking, or if she's not cooking, we're always buying takeout, But I think here we can eat good food because there's plenty of people making it where you don't have to like cook all the time. So when we want to meal prep, we just buy, and then when my wife feels like cooking, she can cook any type of specialty foods that she wants. So number 3, I love that for food. Alright. Number number 4, this is probably one of the biggest one. I like that Nigeria has a less structured
You can see the look on his face when he's getting to this point.
billing system. So
The feature of his face gradually changed from the laughing to a very serious one.
this when I go from both environments, so I can kind of feel the difference in how I feel and how my anxiety changes when I go from one country to another. In US, I don't know what it is about the US system. It just like latches onto you very quickly. When I go, it literally 1 month, I'm already like back into the system. So I think like the billing system makes you always like work so hard to kind of sustain that US American lifestyle, to sustain your house, to sustain your apartment, to sustain all the bills. And there's always bills, there's penalties, there's parking tickets, there's insurance. Like literally when I get paid monthly, the way it swallows is amazing. It's like, okay, car insurance is gonna get their thing, gas bill, electrical bill, rent or parking or health insurance, and then those are the main core ones. And there's all these little tiny things that you didn't think about. Whether it's phone, or maybe you use a little bit more, maybe you have roaming data on your phone, they charge a little bit of extra fees. Maybe one of your card, they missed the auto payment, there's this extra fees. There's just, by the time you kind of look at your bills, you're just like, oh my God, I made all this fun, and the taxes and the billing is just, everything just disappears so quickly. So you now have to consistently be on the grind, constantly all the time, to kind of sustain that. And sometimes it creates a high level of depression and anxiety for a lot of, I think US has a lot of mental health problems, a lot of anxiety, a lot of ADHD. So a lot of people are just over self-medicating with caffeine, coffee, alcohol, and a lot of medications to really sustain that lifestyle in US. So it's becoming kind of like a big deal. People are trying to work it, but I think it's systemic. That's all I can think about, because sometimes I'm very intentional, and before you know it, it's like boom, how did I get sucked back into this? And things are just very expensive. To service some things in your house, boom, credit card fees, just so much. I don't know, but yeah, everything is just way more expensive. And also, people think inflation is only a Nigerian thing, but inflation is happening globally. I remember when
I'm happy he's saying this.
left Nigeria, I came to US and I was just at the store like, what the hell happened? Juice prices, egg prices, everything has drastically increased. And then when I came back to Nigeria, then I'm also like, what the hell? What happened? So I would say cost, and that's just, I would say the systemic billing system cannot let you have peace of mind.
I think the global recession due to post-COVID and now some certain wars like the Russian-Ukraine war and now even the Israeli-Palestinian war is actually drawing the world economy into a double recession.
The systemic thing that I don't like. In Nigeria, I don't know why I don't feel it as much, because I still do have similar bills. But I think, like, let me just use an example. Like my gas that I used to cook, for example, 4 months. So maybe because I'm not paying the company and I'm just buying as you go helps. I don't have a monthly phone bill. Maybe the pay as you go system just gives me more peace of mind. Maybe I know when I'm out of minutes, when I'm out of data, you just charge. But I don't feel like I'm getting billed every month for it. The only thing that feels like a bill is the electrical billing. Even that one is pay as you go. So, but I just have it because I work from home, so we have electrical billing. And maybe the house, because there's something nice about paying for a full year's of rent upfront. That's so cool though. So when I'm like I've
actually heard about this before, that the rent you pay in Nigeria, specifically Lagos, for a year is what you pay for 1 month in US and Canada. It's just so alarming.
Even every day, I'm not worried about covering for rent. I know we are good for the rest of the year. Some people might like this, some people might not, but I think it's cool. I don't know. Medical stuff, the health insurance is not astronomical. So whenever we're sick, we've just paid out of pocket to just kind of handle things. And they do have healthcare systems as well in the US. I'm just trying to think. Food is generally affordable, although inflation has been crazy lately. But yeah, food is way, access to fresh fruits is way more affordable because a lot of things come straight from the farm to the markets, and there's markets everywhere. So yeah, there's people selling coconuts, pineapple on the streets. So I think it makes it more affordable. Although, if you want to live a Western life in Nigeria, the cost might be the same or more. So if you go to the supermarkets, it might be more. But overall, generally, I don't have a lot of anxiety about working so hard non-stop. And not just working hard. You know, like when you work hard, you have this money, you use it to like do something. But so like in Nigeria, when you work hard, I feel like I can take this money, maybe put it towards this, put it towards that, settle this, settle that. But there it just seems like it gets swallowed pretty quickly. So yeah, so you just have to be very, very, very extra intentional to have like some money left over after you work. So yeah, and they keep increasing the minimum rates, but inflation just keeps happening. So I know I've ranted a lot about that, but I'll say there's something about the less structured billing system that I just like. So yeah, systematically in Nigeria, I have way less anxiety. I don't worry much. I think, yeah, even my school fees for my daughter is, I think we pay every 3 months. Way more affordable. I don't know if it's that, like my cost of living can be compared to like a local Nigerian here. But that's why I'm speaking to more of the diaspora, because what I would pay for like school fees, because my daughter's going to a private school, is even way higher than what some other people would pay for their school. But to me, it's still more affordable than what I would pay compared to if I'm in US. Alright, number 5, tax. I did not realize the impact of the taxing system in US. It's too intense, man. And I don't know if Nigerians even are aware of the way the taxing system works. I think US taxes you, they overtax you. So let me give you, for you guys that are Nigerians watching this, or from another country, when you earn money in US, I don't even know of any of my staff that even pay taxes out of their payroll. I don't think people pay taxes when I pay them here. But yeah, I know there's like property tax you might pay. There's business in Nigeria that pay tax, but let's just start with payroll. When you make money in US, just know that 25% is gone, 15 to 25 right off the back. And the more money you make, the higher that percentage appears. So you're going to pay Social Security, Medicare, local tax, state tax, workers' compensation. There's all these taxes, So if you earn $1,000, for example, just know that what's going to come to you is $750. So I would say, number one, they charge you when you earn tax, when you earn money. But guess what? It does not end there. This is what's more challenging, because that one you can kind of understand, okay, fine. We all need to pay taxes to fix our roads, build up all the government programs that's offered, retirement, all that stuff, you understand. So now when you now take this money out, every single thing that you buy, you are going to pay taxes on. If you go buy TV, if you go buy food, if you go buy fruits, vegetables, every single thing you are going to pay taxes on. And I think the tax maybe is like 8%, roughly. I don't know what the arrangement is. So when you go to the store now, when you go buy juice, and the juice is $5, when you go check out, it would be $5 and something cents. So sometimes when you even buy like a whole bunch of things, you're just like, gosh dang it, taxes. So you're getting taxes when you get paid, and then when you spend that money, you're also getting taxed on it. Whether you own your house or you don't own the house, you are going to pay property tax. The more high value your house becomes, the more your property tax. So now you're paying taxes on the place that you live as well. On your car, you're paying taxes every year. So, and then you have, so pretty much you're getting taxed on everything. So that's kind of what, that's the overtaxation system that's happening. You're just going to get taxes all the time. So I'll say the too much taxes is a bit much. So I'll say that's another reason why I prefer living in Nigeria over America. I like going to the store, buying something, and that's just the price. So yeah, so all those little things makes your money just disappear very, very fast. I prefer the lifestyle of Nigeria over American lifestyle all day, every day. And again, this is something that I've dreamt of. I've dreamt of what would be like a perfect day. What does it look like? If I'm living in like a great environment and I'm happy, this is something I've manifested for a long time. This is, me being Nigeria is not like a quick thing. It's something that I've thought about, like, I would like this for my family. I would like to wake up at this. I would like to do this. I would like to do that. And I feel like I'm living it. Lifestyle, again, I just feel like there's a lot more opportunities to be social. There's a lot more things to just engage in, you know. Like we go to, people invite us to many things. There's concerts, there's conferences, there's seminars, there's trainings, and there's an opportunity to learn. So I just enjoy it. And I feel like I spend way more time outdoors in Nigeria than US. US, I feel like I am I'm indoors a lot. I have to force myself to go outdoors, maybe to go on a trail, to go bike riding. And if I'm outdoors, maybe to go shop, maybe to do grocery stores. Yeah, and so sometimes I just get bored. So I'd say generally I like the lifestyle of Nigeria. I think maybe because of how hard people are working, they find a time some way, somehow to have fun, no matter what. So I like my lifestyle. I like that I don't have to wake up too early if I don't want to because of the time zone changes. I like living close to the beach, and I like having access to whatever I need that's very, very accessible. Whether I just want to change up this apartment, I like knowing that I can easily access people that can help me do that. So I generally like the lifestyle. You can always scale up or down. You can get a driver, you can get a nanny, you can get a chef, you can get whatever you want, and it's affordable. That's the key. It's affordable. You can do it. So yeah, so I generally like the lifestyle. Cost of living, which we talked about. And generally, even with inflation, I still feel like cost of living is a little bit better here than in US.
That's very interesting to hear.
Especially if you are earning outside of the country. I feel like the cost of living here is way better. So you can get, especially for the people that's retiring, and if you're like at retirement age and you're trying to manage like your small money, maybe you only like, maybe you're getting pension or social security or whatever. If you're getting like $1,000 a month, maybe you're like retirement age, that $1,000 a month will give you a way better lifestyle here in Nigeria than in US. So I would say cost of living is a bit better. Choosing where you live helps. So like, for example, if I'm in US and I wanted to live close to the beach and I want to live close to all these things, the restaurants, all the stuff that I'm getting here, it would be just too expensive. I mean, too expensive. You're talking about places like New York or LA, where for like the 3-bedroom that we're living at, people are probably paying like $6,000 a month for that, even if not even higher, to be in the type of location that we're at and access everything that we want. So yeah, cost of living, and the biggest cost of living is mainly the house, the rents that you're paying. So I'll say cost of living is better. Number 8 thing, I do feel like, and again I'm talking for Nigeria specifically, I do feel like there is a greater opportunity to build wealth in Nigeria if you can try to overcome all the challenges that comes with Nigeria.
Now if you recall the video I did on the Zynox founder, you know, what this guy is saying is very similar to what that guy discovered, and he founded Zynox in Nigeria because he saw that there's great opportunity here than going out. But I find it difficult to believe how some Nigerians just abandon ship and say they want to jackpot and they want to do that, and then they start talking down on the country and all that. This is a very important point to take note of.
I feel like you can have an idea and you can try to execute it in Nigeria. There's going to be challenges, bumps. It's not going to be easy. Nigeria is a tough environment to build a business, but I feel like you can dream because Nigeria has a lot of problems that need solving. So if you're a problem solver,
and that's true, that's very, very important.
And you're somebody that's coming in with your own experience, expertise that you've built with your exposure in other countries, and you bring it to a place like Nigeria, you're going to kill it. I mean, like, you're going to kill it. And the things that Nigeria needs is very obvious. If you just come to solve the problems that Nigerians are facing, there's a huge opportunity to build wealth in Nigeria that otherwise you would not be able to build very easily in another country. You know, and I see people doing businesses all the time. You know, like this solar, I see solar people, distributors, they're solving like...
Yeah, I can relate to what this guy is saying because obviously solar panel now is big business in Nigeria. Everybody is going into it. Solar panel, you know, and the batteries, lithium batteries, and a host of others, power generation and the likes. There are just way opportunities there.
And their focus is solving... Nigeria has an electricity problem. So if you come in and you're in that field and you can figure out how to solve it, the market is huge. I mean, we have almost, 200 million people in Nigeria? Even Lagos has almost 20 million, and the population is going up. House shortage is a problem. Manufacturing our goods is a problem. So if you're like in any, just look at the problems of Nigeria. If you have any experience and you want to come in, entertainment is huge. So I would say if you want to come and do that, the opportunity to build wealth is insane. Yeah, even in just coaching people, teaching people, knowledge, it's great. So yeah, medical field is great. Anything that you want to do that you feel like it's like a challenge in Nigeria, there's an opportunity for you to build wealth. Number 9, and this is not, I don't even know how to describe this as I was writing this. I feel like I like that I have skilled technicians are easily accessible. You know, there's been many times where, you know, my car has gotten stuck or my tire went flat. I'm usually not far from a vulcanizer and mechanic. My battery died the other day. Literally 5 minutes, somebody is already calling me a battery charger. If I have a plumbing problem, plumber is easily accessible. Electrician. I just feel like anything that I want, that I need to do something solve real quickly, I never have any anxiety. I feel like I can like access it very quickly. So I love that about Nigeria a lot. So having that also gives me a chance to be creative, because I can wake up and be like, you know what, I want to change this, and then I know I can do it at a kind of affordable rate. You know. So I think I like that about Nigeria a lot. Number 10, I do feel like I can live a much more purposeful life in Nigeria. I think maybe it's just, maybe I feel that I'm more needed here. And by the way, I'm a community builder naturally. I've done a lot of philanthropic stuff in the US. I've done, I am actually one that it can be totally fine in US, just so you guys know. I know the culture. I've stayed with whites, I've stayed with blacks, I've stayed with Mexicans. I know the culture, I know the system, I know about the mortgage system, the banking system, I know how to start a business, I know how the rents. I actually can do just fine in US. I've raised a lot of money for a lot of charity. I've just done a lot of cool stuff there. But when I do these things and when I compare it to Nigeria, sometimes I'm just like, this place is already a fully developed country. They don't really need me that much. That I think I'll have way more impact using my talents, my experiences, my knowledge, my capacity. I think I can make a much more bigger impact in Nigeria. So when I wake up every day now, you know, whether it's on the farm or whether it's thinking of how can we grow this farm, how can we grow this business, how can I help people transition to Nigeria, help them with their real estate, look for a place to live. Like every client that I help, everybody that we sell to, it feels so much more impactful than all the stuff that I'm doing. I feel like even employing a staff, which is probably the same in anywhere in the world, it's like amazing. Like the impact goes deeper, and you know, they're able to feed their family, and they're able to contribute to their own economy in a greater way. And you know, African lifestyle is different. So you know, like when you employ one person, and a typical African man doesn't have responsibility to just his immediate family. African man is taking care of so many other responsibilities and things, so the impact definitely goes further. So generally, I just feel like everything that I'm doing to try to make a living, earn income, is very purposeful. So I think it's easier to make an impact here. So where I was trying to do it over there, sometimes I don't even know if they really appreciate it that much. So yeah, that's one. I don't even know if I'm in number 10 or 11. I'll just say the next point that I wrote here is values and cultural preservation. And I know that sounds very, very technical, but I think that I've been enjoying living in Nigeria because I wanted to expose my family to also, I want my daughter to know where her ancestral land is. And there's some value systems that we have in Africa and Nigeria in general, that some of it is slightly conservative, although we're becoming a little bit more open, that I feel like in US it's easy for like a teenager or a young kid to get lost because there's so much happening, culturally speaking, that you have to really fight hard with your kids and your siblings to make sure that they stay focused on what the values of your family is. But sometimes,
on that note, Africa has better cultural values. I wouldn't. This is just a personal opinion, anyway. There are some values we have, traditional, ancient values that are still resident in Africa. That is really going to help us in the long term. And this guy is right in mentioning this point.
You can only do so much because kids are exposed to. You're not the only one raising your child. They're exposed to social media. They're exposed to what they happen in school, and there's so many scenarios that has happened that has made me, like Nigeria, we can like really hone in and focus on like who are we as Africans, what are our values, what are our values when it comes to like respect, what are our values with how we treat people, what are our values with like relationships and marriage, the dynamics between like an adult and a kid, the language, all of those things can be a lot more reinforced. And I know the word is constantly changing. Some of it is good. I accept everyone and their lifestyle, but sometimes it just gets to be like too much to even explain gender and like there's like I don't know 6, 7, 8 genders that's happening here to explain race like to explain to your child like okay, you are a black child or you cannot do things this way when you're in this environment. You have to like watch that. So I would say definitely is a lot more challenging in that environment to kind of preserve your culture, because I think your kids can just easily just adapt whatever culture that they have there. I'm not saying it's negative or bad. I'm just saying that it would be different from what you potentially want to, if you're trying to preserve your own values, your value system. So I would say I like that for Nigeria because naturally I'm not the only one that's instilling those values. Those values are being instilled in a lot of the places that my kids go to, whether it's at school, whether it's everywhere. It's like being instilled already naturally. So yeah, and the last one to me is just this feeling of belonging. No matter how much, and guys, I'm younger, but I've done so much. I've been in the corporate world. I've done a lot of things in the US. No matter how much I try to assimilate myself into the community, no matter how much I do, no matter how much I adapt, no matter how much I do everything that you're supposed to do when you go to a new country, I still never feel a sense of belonging. I don't know why, and I've battled with this. But here, I don't even think, here I just feel like I feel like home, essentially. And I feel like everybody around me is just like me. Everybody's just hustling. I don't have that like fear of like always having to control how I like, engage myself, act myself, controlling myself around other people so they don't feel threatened or so they don't put me in a box. The challenges. There's a lot of mental challenges, and I don't think black people would truly understand what it feels like unless you live US and go to like a majority black country like Nigeria. That's the only way you're gonna get that feeling. You're gonna feel like, wow. You're gonna feel that sense of like, wow, there's a lot of mental things and exercises that I have to go through when I go to the store, when I drive, when I go to work, when I go to school, when I go to class. You always have to like, as a black person or an African person, you always have to like always watch how you're interacting and engaging with your society. So especially, sometimes the communities and places that we find ourselves is going to be majority whites. Diversity is getting better, but you're going to be interacting with other cultures. But I think when you're here, you don't even think about that. You just think and focus on what you're trying to do that day. So yeah, so those are like my main reasons of why I prefer living in Nigeria over America. Obviously, I'm here. Now, don't get me wrong, there's a lot of things that America does way better than Nigeria. America is more organized, infrastructure is a little bit better. Generally, things are just a little bit more organized. Law and order is in place, so I can see the draw. And it's easy to get employed. The job opportunities in US better. That's why I don't think this is for everyone. But the people that are entrepreneurs, the people that can relate to me, the people that love Africa, that love Nigeria, I think a lot of the reasons why I prefer Nigeria over US, this video would resonate with you. But anyways, guys, I hope that you guys have enjoyed this video, and I hope that you've enjoyed this fresh perspective of somebody that is literally a Nigerian American to the core. Like, I was born in US, but I've spent a lot of time in Nigeria. I've spent 10 years in Nigeria, I've spent 20 years in America. I've really truly explored the depth of both worlds. I'm hoping that you guys enjoyed my own kind of unique perspective of somebody that's saying Nigeria over America. What? So because of those small unique things, like for example, access to capital is easier in US. So I would say for those things I can see the draw to it. And that's why we're still connected to US. So that's why I'm not like 100% have like all in on Nigeria. I still know that I have the privilege and there's some benefits of being a US citizen that I'm also going to maximize. I'm just being honest and real with you guys. But in general, living wise, I prefer Nigeria over US. But I have the privilege to also take the best of both worlds, and I'm maximizing that benefit to my highest potential and hopefully using it in a way that I can make more impact. So comment underneath this video which one of these points resonates with you, which one do you disagree with. Just share your general thoughts and comments underneath this video. I always enjoy reading them and listening to them. And if you like this video, hit the like button. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to share it. Share this video. Check out my channel. Subscribe if you like more content about living in Lagos, Nigeria specifically. And lastly, guys, remember, it's your time to rise and let your light shine. Peace.